and gents. We'll go ahead and echo this out. There you go. We're back. This is part 2 of our installation of the Linux operating system. We're using Ubuntu. And before we took our short little lunch break, we'll call it lunch break, we got our Ubuntu installed on our servers. And we are, let's just go ahead and bring that up so you guys can see it. So that's right. We have our Ubuntu installed. Get that over here, and we're ready to move on. Now, during the install, I realize it's funny. We learn as we go, and everything. So we got our Ubuntu installed. We installed MySQL. We ran the secure installation script that allows us to secure that. And so now the next thing that we need to do is connect to our system. Now we're, as you can see, I'm actually connected to Ubuntu through the interface. It's kind of like I'm sitting in front of the computer, right? Well, what happens if you are in a remote land in a faraway country and you want to connect to Ubuntu? Well, the way that you can do that is through a product called SSH. And SSH is secure shell. It's secure. And the way that you can download that, and I'll show you, I use a product. There's many SSH clients, but the one that's most widely used is called PuTTY. And let me bring up, actually, I'm gonna show you the screen where you can download PuTTY, and you can go to just Google putty.com or PuTTY, P-U-T-T-Y, and the link is actually in the bottom of the description of this part of the video. So there's also a quick link to it. So you would download PuTTY and install it. It is an executable. And then once you run that executable and link to it, and it's very simple to do, you would actually just put in the IP address of the server that you want to connect to, and of course then save it and everything, and then say open. And there's plenty of videos on how to do that, how to set up PuTTY so you can connect. So once you set up PuTTY and you connect, you actually get a screen just like this. So this is a shell. This is what they call a Linux shell, and you use PuTTY secured shell. It allows you to do that, and then now you don't have to sit physically in front of the computer, watching the screen all the time. And so let's go ahead and move on over so we have the shell up and running, and you guys can see that. And like I said, so now you can go sit at your desk, you can get your cup of coffee. In my case, of course, it's the Mr. Tim Hortons. And no, they do not sponsor me. I just love their coffee. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Love coffee. You know what they say about coffee, right? Coffee is just code waiting to be written, and everything. That's what coffee's all about. So now we're at our shell. So where we left off is that we installed, and I'm going to kind of move some things around here. So I'm actually looking at the shell, and I'm just going to trust that everything else is working over there. And let me do this. I want to bring out our chat room, and you can join us in the chat room. And once we get our site up and running, and I'll tell you the whole goal of this, and the reason why we're doing this configuration, is that we are going to take everything that we've learned here. Return to pose. Man, there's just so much stuff to do. Oh my goodness, it's just crazy. All the things that we have to do, and it's like, when I say I got YouTube, I got Twitch, so you can join us on Twitch. I'm trying to get Facebook, and Facebook is just being a pain in the butt. Facebook's being Facebook, right? Maybe what I need to do is show you guys how to write a Facebook clone. How about that? I don't know if we do that. And of course the focus. Oh my goodness, the autofocus. It's way out of focus. That's crazy. I have to know what's going on there, but the focus is horrible. Horrible, I tell you, horrible. Next thing you know, we'll have cats and birds associating with each other. There we go. All right. So, people say, well, what do you got against cats? What do you got against birds? I don't have anything. Yeah. So it's weird. It's the quality. Everything's kind of blurry. That's strange. And of course, Facebook is being a jerk. And so we don't want the people on Facebook to be without. So let's get over here and fix this problem. You know, I had to do a whole video on how to do videos and stuff as I learned, because this is a pain. You know, I thought I'm a pretty smart cookie, but this is like really, really a pain in the butt. Natushkish, as they would say, as my Yiddish friends would say. So let me bring this up. See, I don't think any of this is working, to be honest with you. How do I say this? Facebook, why do they have to be so difficult? Right? Why does it have to, you know, why does everything have to be so difficult? I just don't get it. It's like they just constantly making my life miserable. No, they don't make my life miserable. I can make my own life miserable. I don't let people have that kind of power over me. So there you go. So the phones are starting to ring. It's about that time of day. All right. So we have that. We have that. We have that. We did that. We're going to go live, and let's see how this works. Obviously, it's working because I can hear myself. There you go. I can hear myself. In my own headphones. There you go. All right. So we are now live on Facebook. All right. Oh, heaven help us. All right. We'll get through it, though. Get through it. You know, I can't sweat the small stuff. All right. So right before we left, like I said, we installed them in Ubuntu. Now, of course, this is going to be difficult. So let me go ahead and log in here. We installed Ubuntu. We put in our shell script. And now what we are doing, and we just lost that. See, it's just a pain. I'm telling you. It's a pain. There we go. Write in our password, we get logged in. And so now we are actually logged in to our Linux operating system. And remember how I told you can always hit the arrow up or arrow down? Now, this is a different shell, so you're not going to see that history here. But as we progress, you will actually see that history. Oh, one thing that you need to is once you install your Ubuntu, in order to use the way that you get your IP address is that you type in ifconfig, and then this first one, this first right here, this means localhost, so this is like a loopback and internal. This is the one you want. So this is your IP address, and this is what you would actually put in if your computer, when you were setting up your computer, if you have it on DHCP where it receives automatic IPs. So you type in ifconfig, and then you're going to need this number right here to type into your SSH in order to connect, and that's how you get that. All right. And also we talked about, and see now, I got my commands. See, I arrow up and I can see my commands. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get into root because I got a lot more things to do today to get this installed. So Now, the other thing too is for now, if I go here, oh, see how I highlighted? That's the cool thing about Linux. You can highlight something with your mouse, and if you hit your right mouse button, see how it's copy and paste. No more Control C, Control V. And the other part of that is, and we'll just kind of clear this out. So what I want to do now is I want to go to that browser, and I'll show you, because we're going to get an error if I type in that IP address into the browser, unable to connect. You know why? Because there's no web server there. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to install the web server. Now, in the Linux world, there's really two web servers that kind of rule the roost, as they would say. There's Ngix, which is NGIX, which is Nancy, Golf, Indigo, X-Ray, NGIX, and there's Apache. Both NGIX is very lightweight. It's very efficient. Maybe we'll do a video on how to install using NGIX. It's most of your bigger websites now use NGIX because of its resources and the amount of resources that it does not take up, and so it's very very lightweight, and it is very efficient, and it's an incredible web server. But in this instruction, we're going to use Apache. We're going to use Apache 2. That is, I don't want to say the mainstream because NGIX is taking over, but we're going to use Apache for this demonstration. And you know, Apache's been around longer and everything. So think of it this way: NGIX took everything that Apache was and made it better. You know, that's kind of, you know, they're the lean and mean of the industry. They took the good things that Apache has to offer, and then they made it better, made it faster. But we're going to stay with the old reliable, old steady Apache. So the way that we install our Apache, of course, is that we run our commands, and this is the nice thing about using SSH now. I can copy that and just do that. So the command is apt-get --assume -yes install, because we're going to install, and we're going to say yes because I'm just too lazy to type in Y, right? And we're going to type in Apache 2, and we're just going to hit return or enter, and that's going to bring up Apache. And let me transition that over. So what I did, and I forgot to hit the button, so what I did is I just put in the command and hit enter, and it ran the Apache. All right. So our Apache is now installed. And how do I know it's installed? Well, now I go back to the website and I get this nice little message. Wow, it's pretty easy, right? You just installed your first web server. Not that hard, is it? And it's running. And we know it's running because here you go. So this will actually serve up 8 HTML pages. HTML, hypertext HTML, yeah, hypertext multi-language. Right? Is that what it is? Markup language. That's it, markup language. Gosh. God, I forget more. I forget. So now our Apache's installed. So after we've installed our Apache, now we need to install our PHP. And the way that we do that is the same thing, is that we go in here, apt-get assume yes, install PHP 5 and live Apache mod PHP 5. What this does is it installs a PHP, and then this package here then ties the PHP and configures Apache to run with it. And that's, so, oh, it's not no installation, can it? What? So maybe we got to do this. Sometimes order of operations are everything. So it does not have, it's not package 5, is not available, so it's not a, well, shucks, man. There you go, PHP. See, each language is different, so in this case it was just PHP. And this is installing PHP 7, which is the latest and greatest. That's awesome. And now I bet you this is probably going to fail. So we install our Apache. Our web server is there running. Now what we need to do is that we need to restart our Apache. And the way that we do that, because it needs to take the new installation, we installed the PHP, but the problem is that Apache was running, so now we have to restart it so it gets its new configuration. And the way that we do that in Linux is you type in service Apache. In this case, it would be Apache 2 because that's the name of the process, and then we say restart. Now, there is a quick way of knowing if your PHP is working or not. See, when you saw this page here, that tells us HTML is working. But now we want to use PHP, which is a language that converts programming language to HTML and then presents it on the web browser, if that makes sense, right? So you use PHP to write the language that then interprets, goes through the PHP interpreter, converts the language, the code into HTML, which it can be presented. See, HTML doesn't have logical operators and variables and all that stuff. It is just it's basically paints pictures. That's all it is it just paints the picture. And so what you need to do in order to have logic in your code, and logic being, operators and if then, do this, do that, and all that, you use a language such as PHP and Java. JavaScript to do that. There's multiple languages that will do that, but in this case we're going to use PHP. So to know that we have PHP installed, what we're going to do is the default installation directory for Apache is var www.html. And if I do an ls here, which means list, and remember, like I said, there's not a whole lot of commands that you have to know in order to be good at Linux. Just a few, and we're going over. List means list out. It's like dir and DOS. All right. So here's the index.html page. That's the page that shows you the HTML. We'll bring that over. So I got to remember to switch back and forth. So cd means change directory /var/w/html takes you into that directory. You know you're there because you see it here in your bar. And then the thing is you type in ls for list directory, right? That's your list directory. Now, there is, in the Linux world, there's a command called vi. Vi is like your editor, your text editor, and we'll do a series on vi a little bit later down the road. I've noticed this about, give me 1 second here. I noticed that it seems like this is chopping off a little bit of the video, so let me get this done. It's not a problem until I need to do something. So now VI is our editor, and we'll talk about VI a little bit later, but I'm going to create a page, a very simple page to tell me if PHP is installed correctly, and you can do this as well. So you go VI, and then we're just going to call it index, and instead of HTML, we're going to call it PHP, index.php, and we're going to bring that open. Now, to use VI, to insert something, you have to hit I. This is all command line kind of stuff, and then you got to tell the code that it is a PHP application, and that's exactly, so you type in, this is standard for all PHP, because you can mix PHP and HTML together. So you have to be able to tell it, hey, look, this is PHP, this is HTML and stuff. And the way that you do that is using this designator. So anything between these two lines is going to be PHP code. And then you just do PHP info. And then you got to say that's the end of the line. That's it. Very simple, guys. Not a whole lot, guys and gals. Not a whole lot to do there. And then you hit escape, WQ for white crate. And we'll have a whole section on VI, but that's all you have to do. That creates, now if you do an ls, you will see there's a now PHP index.php there. Now, what we need to do is, does it work? Now, I've had this happen, believe it or not. Many years I've been doing this. I've had problems where sometimes it just doesn't work. So, Here we go. Here's the moment of truth, right? We're going to bring this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our web browser again, and we're going to add index.php to the end of it. And drum roll, let's see what we get here. There you go. That tells us that we are now running PHP version 7.0 on Ubuntu version 16. And then of course this will tell you everything that's installed and configured and all that good jazz and stuff. Well, so now we have our PHP installed. There you go. So now we can actually serve up, not only can we serve up HTML, JavaScript pages, but also PHP pages. How cool is that? So now the next part is, now I want to add some things to PHP. Now, I don't know, because they did change from version 5 to version 7, so I don't think this is going to work, but we can try it. That's the nice thing about Linux, is that it is going to tell us pretty quickly if it doesn't work. So apt-get install MySQL. So there you go. Yeah, see? I didn't put the, if you notice, I didn't put the assume yes, so now it's asking me to say yes. Are you sure you want to install this? So that's it. So now what we're doing is that we're compiling PHP to work with MySQL databases. That's basically what that command is. The next thing we want to install is PHP, and these are just packages. This is kind of my standard default packages that I use when I install PHP. This is curl. Curl allows you to go out and like read, parse web pages, other web pages, and other information. It allows you to digest other things from external sources. The other thing is I use crypt. Now this allows you to run encryption. mcrypt allows you to run encryption, and we're going to need that obviously when we want to encrypt websites and you know have different things to protect our site. And the last thing I installed, and this is right out of the bat, you can all install other things, is APC. APC is a cache it's a cacher. It's an optimization, and it caches, and that's what makes your doesn't look like they have a APC. All right. Yeah, let me see here. I don't think they have an APC out just yet for 7. That's the PHP APC. Here, we're going to go our trusty friend Googler. I know there's other versions of AP or other app things. Let me see here. I'm looking. Oh, it's already part of the INI file. So it's already built into the OS, so I don't have to install it. So if you go down here and let's just search here. Let's do a search here and look for cache, because that's basically what it is. So cache is there it is, opcache, send opcache. So what it is a caching control. So what it allows you to do is it will take pages that are static, in other words, pages that don't change, and it puts them into the operating system, in the memory, into the Apache's memory, and so it stores. So they don't always have to go out to the disk and grab that stuff. So it's kind of like, think of this as like your desk, right? The file cabinet's the database. The desk is everything that you're going to present to the user. So you don't have to always go out to the file cabinet and pull a file if you already have the file on your desk, correct? So that's what caching does. In a nut, kind of, that's a simplistic way of telling that. Now, the next thing that we want to do, now that we have that, is that we need to restart Apache because we've installed some other applications. So we're just going to do it, we're going to restart it. And so our Apache's been restarted. We're good to go. We have Apache in there. Now, Ubuntu, like I said earlier, Ubuntu comes with a native firewall. And that firewall it's IP tables, but they made an interface called IFW that goes on top of it. So what you want to do so that people from the outside world can get access to it, you just type in these commands, and we'll talk about firewalls a little bit later. So what this does is it allows port 80 and port 443. Port 80 is your standard HTTP, and 443 is HTTPS. That's your secure port. And that's all we're doing is we're just telling it to allow those ports to come through the firewall from external sites. All right. The other thing that I like to do is I always want to make sure. Now we've already verified this when we did the install, but I want to make sure that we're actually set our time zones to the right. So it'll be New York, and there's a list of that. So we have that. The last thing I want to do is that this Linux Unix has a clock, so you can type in date. But I want to make sure that the date is always updated, and the way you do that is through you install what they call an NTP service. NTP is a time protocol. So what that does is it will go out and actually update this clock against time servers out there. So that way your clock on your computer is always, especially on your server, it's very important, is always up to date and always accurate. And then the last thing is now we're going to tell it to go update. So we installed NTP, and now we're going to tell it by NTP date, and then we're going to tell it to go out to Ubuntu.com. But there's several NTP servers. Google government has them, all of that stuff, and so you're just going to go out there and do that. Oh, do you want to install? Oh, install NTP date. Yep, see, it's telling me. It's pretty smart. I thought I installed that. See, it told me it wasn't installed, so you can't run that command. There you go. And it's already in use because it's already running. So, yep. So, with that, believe it or not, guys and gals, you have a fully working Linux server, Ubuntu server. It's 100%, it's working, and it is serving up PHP and HTML pages. This is the PHP page, and we'll get rid of that, and we'll do this, and that is the HTML page. So we are good to go. And wow, that wasn't that difficult, was it? We also have our database. The way that you get access to your database is you just type in MySQL. Remember, this is all command line. There's no graphics, no Google. You actually feel like you're doing something. You want to impress someone? Learn command line. -U means user, and we're going to log in as root, and RP as in our password. So we're going to tell it to ask for the password. And there it is, and log in the password, and now my command has changed. I am in MySQL, and there's a bunch of commands that you can do here. This tells you the databases, and so think of a database as a file cabinet, and think about each drawer is a database. This is a database server. MySQL is a database server, so think of that as the file cabinet. Each drawer of that file cabinet is a database, and within that database, you have files, right? And so each table is a file within that database. And inside here you have records. So you can, so that's how that works. It's to put it in layman's terms. And that's how databases work. So that is it. I think we are good to go. I want to make sure I exit here. So now I'm back to my normal everyday user. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is tomorrow's going to be fun, guys, gals, friends. Tomorrow, so we have our database server up and running. So tomorrow we're going to install WordPress. That's right. We're going to download and install WordPress. Part of that is that we have to set up a database for WordPress to use. We also have to install the actual HTML code that WordPress will use in the directory See, this is what I love about, this is one of the many things I love about Linux. It's so efficient in this directory. So we're going to create a directory for WordPress, and we're going to install all of those files in there. And that will be the goal for tomorrow. And then the following day, probably over the weekend or whatever, we'll start on building our WordPress template site and everything. So, man, there you go. That's it. Everything's we're ready to go. We have a server. We have everything. Now, I put the links to the down below to PuTTY, to Ubuntu, to CentOS. It's the same process for CentOS as it is in Ubuntu. It's just they have little slight nuances. Instead of typing in apt-get, you type in yum. Why? Yeah, that's right. Yum. And the other thing too is that you can log in directly into the machine as the root user, where Ubuntu is set up. You can't. Um, so different flavors, different things, but at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff. That's about it. Like I said, make sure that you go out and tell your friends about us and let us know. Now, one of the things is, feel free to shoot me an email. I know our website's not up and running yet, so I'll give out our email address. It's, believe it or not, it's writecodelive@gmail.com. Writecodelive@gmail.com. Send that to an email if you have a question. I'll answer it on the air. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this. I am here, 16 hours a day basically in front of the computer, and I'm here to answer your questions. I'll be glad to do it, and we'll make a show out of it. So if you're stuck on a problem, and don't think there's PHP, I program in a lot of different languages. I think there's like 11 last time I counted. So if you have a question, something else is stumping you and everything, give me a shout, give me the question. I'll be glad to answer it. For right now, you can send it to the email account that is writecodelive@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Tell your friends, tell your families, everything about that. But yeah, ask away. I'll be glad to help you if I can. That's what it's all about. And like always, just be well, my friends. And I did find it last night. Oh, I was going to tell you, we have a mystery box. Let me pull it back for all you guys on Twitch. This came in the mail today. As I show my, yeah, that's right. This came in the mail today, and everything. So feel free tonight. We're gonna be. I don't know what game I'm gonna be playing tonight, but we're gonna do Right Code Gaming. Is gonna be live this evening. We're gonna open up this mystery box right here. That's right. We're gonna open up the mystery box, and we'll see what's inside. We'll set it up and have fun with it. So be well, be safe, take care of yourselves. And like always, man, just don't let it get you down. It's coding. It's a process. It's fun, and it's really cool. It's really cool to be able to create something with your mind and also your hands and everything. So if there's anything I can do to help you guys out, make your life a little bit better, just let me know. And take care. And we're going to do some pretty cool things here in the next couple of days. So hang loose, and till then, my friends, be well.